All right, guys, Anthony here, Service Service. Let me make sure my flash is on. There you go. Kevin's truck here. We're tearing it apart. I didn't bring it all the way up because it's not getting engine out job. So we're gonna clean it all here in a bit. I know the sun glare is horrible right here. It's really not that dark yet, but I'm just getting some stuff off so we can clean it. And I left the brakes on. See, I bungeed them all up. They're kind of, yeah, it's kind of a, I'm sure some of the internet gurus will tell me it's stupid, but you know what? It's an 03 and there is a lot of rust. So we go touching them brake lines. We got them all bungeed up. They're good. But there's quite a bit. I mean, a lot of the bolts have been bad. There's some pretty good rust under here. So if we look over here, we're probably going to be buying one exhaust manifold. Can't even see the bolt on it. It's just like one glob of rust, which looks like this side has already been done. And they used a cheap gasket, which, whatever. I mean, I don't see a big leak anywhere, so I mean, we can pick on that if we want. I don't know, but this does have, I mean, there's, you know, sometimes I pick stuff apart. I know. New transmission. Pretty new. Fairly new. Granted, his power steering lines are bad, but okay, here. They put transmission lines on it, which I would have done the same with how all these lines look. Look at these lines right here. So I imagine the transmission lines didn't look so good either. I can imagine now I haven't talked to Kevin, or I tried to call Certified about it, because Certified owes us basically another set of transmission lines. They ran them down under there and put rubber hoses around them and did not put them back in the bracket how they're supposed to be. There's a bracket that bolts to that stud right there. There's a bracket that holds the transmission lines up out of the way. And yeah, you actually have to kind of work to get the bracket off. And so I'm gonna call them again tomorrow. They were closed today. I'm gonna call them again, and I'm just gonna, you know, say, hey, why don't you throw me a set of transmission lines, another set. I'll give them these back. They can sell them to the next guy, but that way we can put them on and put them on right, actually, so that they're not rubbing on the oil pan and rubbing on the cross member, because that's kind of crappy. Another thing, this is what I was talking about. I was talking to Kevin about, I mean, this is straight up 03. So that is a 90 millimeter coolant pump. So maybe some of you guys will comment on here about, I was just mentioning to it. And there comes a point when, you know, somebody that's not like in the 6-liter world, you know, and we're looking at the front cover right here on an 03 that it's got a 90 millimeter pump, and, you know, I mean, it's a very, very good time to upgrade. But there's a point when I'm talking about all the different things, and I pretty much bombard the customer with too much stuff to think about, to remember, and to absorb, because of all the different things we can change. You know, but to change that coolant pump, we got to do the front cover, the housing that it sits in. Another thing on 03s that is absolutely horrible is getting the heater core tube out. Now, I have broke front covers before trying to get them out. And so the one thing we'd have to do is bend the little tab up right there. If we have to do it, I don't know, we'll see. I'm not gonna break his front cover unless he wants to upgrade to the later coolant pump, because a bigger coolant pump never hurt nobody. Does look like we've had a low pressure pump put in it. I bet you that was, well, you know, everything's speculation, but I bet you that was probably a no start, like either ICP, IPR valve or something, and they went and they sold a low pressure pump because they thought it wasn't pumping oil, or who knows, I don't know. I mean, low pressure pump doesn't go bad unless you have a base engine issue, but whatever, it'll be all right. Who cares? Got a fairly new EBP sensor, which 03 is inferred EBP, so that's another one. I mean, I hate to pick on stuff, but honestly, all that is a holder for that harness right there, because 03 does not use exhaust back pressure. So when somebody when you buy an EBP sensor on an 04, yeah, absolutely, you know, use it. But on an 03, no, you know, it doesn't even use it. It does what it does in per EBP. So, you know, we've pretty much, I mean, like I said, I know I'm banging on stuff. The IPR valve is not new. The ICP sensor is fairly new. So it's probably, I mean, who knows? But that one's fairly new. So normally on a job like this, on an 03, we will put an ICP sensor in it just because the 03s are notorious for leaking oil. I mean, notorious. You know, that one is going to leak oil eventually too. It's going to happen. The sensor right there, that's the ICP sensor. That will leak oil. I haven't even taken it apart yet. Let's pull it off real quick and look. See if it's wet. Yep, it's wet inside. So, there you go. It's leaking. So, you know, I would kind of push for an ICP sensor, but I mean, there's, like I said, that we're at a point where I will just bombard with a bunch of stuff because 03s, there are a ridiculous amount of things we can do. Like there's another one that we're gonna do that I'm kind of not really gonna, it's like $25. I'm not giving him an option. It's, I mean, I'm just, if he gets mad about it, I'll buy him the damn thing. Update to the 07 dipstick tube. The dipstick and the tube for an 07 is about the same cost as a new dipstick. And I know a lot of you guys have got these broken. These break. These do a lot. The 07 one, next to never. They almost never break. What else we got here? I mean, yeah. How hard do you think they worked, guys, to put that clamp on down there like that? I bet they worked really freaking hard to do that. You know? I mean, it's all good though, whatever. You know, the thing that really sucks though is we cannot get that heat shield up there. We cannot get it. All his other heat shields look good. That one, these are no longer available. We cannot get them. So, you know, there's, I mean, that sucks. We can try to make it look as good as we can. Put some HVAC wrap up there. You know, we're gonna try. This over here is fender well insulation on that. Hell, I can't zoom in on here. It was just destroyed. There was crap all over it. It had stuff falling off. So we took the insulation off the inside of this. We don't need that stuff on there. All it is just causing rat's nest. Kind of like that one right there. See all that insulation? I mean, it's, yeah. All it is, it was falling apart. The one here, we've got it, I think it's outside because it's just nasty. It was falling apart. There was crap all over the place from it. Yeah, power steering lines. That's why I normally disconnect one of these, the front one, normally. They do not look so hot. So, if something looks that bad, and we're not dead set on replace, right now we can still replace it. We can replace them, but I'm not taking them off unless we are replacing them, because I'm not touching those freaking lines unless we're putting new lines on it, because no way. Because them son of guns, I guarantee you, we'll go take them lines off. It'll be the last time they'll ever run down the road, for sure. What else? I don't know about cam and crank sensors. Normally on a job like this, I would also do cam and crank sensors. It's kind of wet down here. It's fairly wet down here. It's actually really freaking wet down here. So let's see what the crank sensor looks like. Crank sensor's right there. It looks pretty dry. We got bed plate leaking. That's what it is. See all that oil right there along it? That's the bed plate. Same on this side. This side is obviously worse than the other side. So that is engine out repair. I mean, you know, that's, I was talking to Kevin about it. That bed plate, to get that dry. Now we haven't had it's not a big compulsive leaker, but it also, by looking at the engine, just because it's not hitting the ground, we might just ride with it, but it is leaking. And the only thing a leak will do, generally, is not get better, you know. It's not gonna get better, but when we're looking at the short block, in chassis, you know. The bed plate would come with the lifter job. If we do lifters, then and we pull the engine out and take the rear cover off, which we separate this cover from the engine, then we can also take the oil pan, the bed plate, take all that stuff off, seal it all up. You know, that's something that we can do. But, you know, this is a fairly low miles. I think it's 120,000 mile, isn't it? I think it's 120,000 mile truck. You know, if this is one where I've done a lot of these jobs where we go from 03, get rid of the crossover tube on the intake, get rid of, I mean, I've done them where we got rid of the high pressure pump, got rid of the rocker boxes, put 07 oil rails on it, make it all late model. Done that a lot. But, you know, that's another one of them where I bombard the customer. Because, you know, I throw all that stuff at them and they're like, Jesus Christ, my God, I think I need to sell the truck. You know, that's, which, and I can see it when I do that, when I'm talking to them, especially on 03 customers, because there are so many different things we can do with it. Because, I mean, that high pressure pump, it's not if, it's when. That pump is going to go out eventually. I mean, it might last 300,000 miles. It might go out next week. We don't know. But, you know, that's why I would, normally I update. I get rid of all of it. But in order to do that, we also replace the main engine harness. So it's fairly substantial. So we don't need to pick on it too much like that, but those options are there. You know, on I've got a lot of jobs that they do want that. They don't want to worry about that high pressure pump going out. You know, they 03s are really bad at top injector O-ring leaks, but you know, the more prevalent than the 04 to 07 for sure. But what else are we doing here? I don't know, I'm just breaking it down. I saw the transmission lines and I was like, really? Come on, people. You know, throw them freaking, just take they had the transmission out. I mean, you can fish the line, you can snake the lines through there. I've done it before. You can snake them through there with no transmission in. I mean, it's not a catastrophic deal. I mean, it's a pain in the butt, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, but if you're gonna do it, I mean, come on, let's do it. Otherwise, I mean, just quit your job and go find something else to do. I mean, because to do that transmission line, to do it right, I mean, what I would do is yank the AC compressor, which you could pull the fender well, and which the fender well's got all kinds. I mean, this has all been apart. I mean, we were missing bolts. We got 7 millimeters, look like headlight bolts, and in the fender well. I mean, it's been into that probably when they did the exhaust manifold. So, but that not too catastrophic. I mean, we can handle it. It'll be all right. Let's see. Well, our plan is we're gonna do a lap. We're gonna lap the valves in. I'm gonna surface them, check recession, put new springs and new seals on it. Put some push rods in it, and of course clean the things. They're gonna be freaking, I'm probably gonna have a freaking day in cleaning just to get all the carbon and crap out of them, all the soot. So we got some of his parts going, some of his parts are already clean. I mean, we clean them all up and make them look like brand new, but we're just getting started on it. I mean, there's really not much more disassembly that we're going to be doing. I mean, there is a lot, but we can see most of it from here. I mean, the one concerning thing is they've already been into it. Put the delete on it. That's leaking. See it? It's all wet right there. Yeah, it's leaking. It is what it is. I mean, that's why we make our intakes, because I'm sick and tired of the freaking crap leaking. Like that rubber hose down there. Little rubber hose. Yeah. Yeah, we don't do none of that. Imagine it probably had a Y pipe leak. Look how dark it is under here. I mean, the back of the turbo, see it? That's kind of screaming Y pipe. But, oh well, it'll be all right. Valve cover, where it's stamped together, it's kind of rusted a little bit, so. I don't know what else we're doing. Who knows? I mean, if we, pretty much a whole bunch of stuff is what we're doing, so, yeah. I think I covered most of it, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep tearing stuff down. I'm gonna get the starter out and get the coolant drained out. Probably go ahead and get the exhaust manifolds off, the Y pipe, the down pipe, the starter. Get all that stuff off that way, and get the positive cable off. Basically get a lot of it stripped down, and then I'm gonna go power wash. That way we get the fuel pump off, because we're all of them. We take the fuel pump off, take it apart, clean it all out. Get the wiring all out of there, the fuel pump off. That way we can clean all of it and clean under the cab and just do everything we do. But with this one, with it not being an engine out job, I just want to get the stuff out of the way so I can clean all that crap. I mean, it's just a lot of rust though. It is pretty rusted. I mean, it's pretty bad. We'll put a freaking thick coat of oil base black on it, on the frame. It'll look good. So, oh, the steering stabilizer. Let's look at this. Wonder what happened here. It's non-existent. So, no steering stabilizer. I mean, you don't have, I mean, honestly, if you've got if the front end is good and tight, you don't even notice it's on there if you got a good front end. You know, stabilizer is actually, in my opinion, it's just a mask. It's a mask if you've got wandering front end or something like that. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have one. I mean, I have them on my trucks, you know, just, I don't know, but it's bent. It's not even there, so damn it. All right, guys, that's enough. I've picked on this truck enough. Let's actually go to work. Maybe we can get some good parts for it. I mean, it does have, I mean, transmission shifts like, I think it's, I mean, I drove it for a while, a little bit, not a whole lot, but I mean, yeah. I don't think we got anything else. Time to get to work. All right, guys, have a good day.